Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's community manager Cordovan, and I'm going to be running on the hardcore server today, doing some level 3 quests. My character is currently level 5, having just reached it not too long ago, having cleared out all the level 2 quests. Have just a bit to go before I hit level 6, so we'll be doing that on the hardcore server today. Hopefully I won't die. I will make a promise to you. I will open every chest that I encounter. And we'll see how it goes. But so far, this is my first character on hardcore. I'm level 5. I'm slow and steady. I'm being super careful-like. I'm being as if I were a careful player. I am acting as if I were a careful player in real life. I'm LARPing a character that doesn't zerg, in other words. And we'll see how that goes. So, welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good week. This week doesn't have quite the huge news that we've had in recent weeks, although we do have a bit of news that I will get to in just a second. We'll get to the bonus and all that as well. And there we are. So, hashtag no deaths. We'll see. We'll see. You know who has the best death recorded on video that I have seen? For the second hardcore season in a row, the award for best video death so far goes to Strimtom. Sorry, Strimtom. But that first hardcore death you had where you were in Prison of the Plains and you guys got all buffed up and it was spawn. Bam! And you just basically got one shot because you guys were in there too hard a difficulty. That was an amazing clip on Twitch, and I think it is currently still the best hardcore death that I've seen yet this season, and I've seen many. Runner-up, though, does go to something that I think is going to be in the Chronicle this week, which is, I don't know if it was Mickey that did the work, but it's on Mickey's blog. Someone has basically just been going onto YouTube and recording 8 hours of video, just kind of hanging out in the harbor to see all the hardcore deaths, so that people who want to can just kind of watch, put it on in the background and watch people die. That has to be a pretty good trend as well. The only thing missing is why someone could just be live streaming this, right? Someone could just be, to the best of their ability, keeping a stream going to record all the deaths for those who just want to have a casual break on YouTube and watch people die. Apparently, a few people are dying. This is probably our hardest hardcore season yet, thanks in large part to these mimics. But there we are. So that's what's up here this week. I guess I could mention real quick. Let's get to the biggest news, which is that we have a developer event tonight, and that's going to take place on Lamania. This is our final Lamania preview of our ranged combat changes and our game performance changes, which, you know, impact melee, obviously, quite a bit, but some other things as well. And this is our final preview of Update 49. So, unfortunately, I can't direct link to Lamania, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way here. And just call up the thread. And I'll see if I can zoom it in a little bit. But if not, I'll just end up kind of reading it out loud to you here while we go through it. This is tonight from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a bunch of us are going to be on to get your direct feedback on this latest build. This is our third preview of Update 49, and is our final preview. If everything goes well, we're currently targeting next week for release. Stay tuned on a more specific downtime, probably something like Wednesday, but we'll see. And that is going to have the Perils of the Planar Eyes, a new adventure pack, free to VIPs, standard adventure pack fare there. New named loot, including some Lord's March Plaza stuff. The bow combat style revamp. We've done a few kind of bits of feedback that you can read in the release notes. I guess I'm not going to go through that. It would be a little dull to go through that here. But we've been kind of addressing some of the biggest pieces of feedback from the second preview that we can. Like including adding some new icons and things like that. We also fixed, it's going to make a big difference, we fixed sneak attack and key, which wasn't working last preview. So that's pretty good. Now, one of the big changes is that we're making some adjustments to adrenaline based on how things went in the first two Lamania previews, because the DPS of adrenaline was already obviously quite high, and sort of went through the roof with these changes. So what we are doing is we're reducing it from 300, 300, 300, 400%, so 400%, to 200%. We're having it essentially. However, we're also changing it so that instead of getting a charge back 33% of the time on a Vorpal, it's 100% of the time. So I guess you could say we're largely having the damage, although when you start getting into melee power calculations, it can be different than that. But we're also making it much more frequent that you'll be able to use adrenaline there. Much, much more frequent. We've also done some work on Hunt's End, reducing it from 400% to 300% there. So, and reduced its cooldown by 6 seconds. Some moderately controversial changes there, but ultimately things that we feel are important to do as we head into this. And if we need to take another look at those after we go live with Update 49, that is something we could do. But ultimately this is based on the results that we've seen from the first two Lamania previews. All right, so I guess that's really the big Lamania thing. It would be really useful. It's hard to get, especially this performance stuff, it's hard to get much feedback on it when there aren't that many people on the server. So that's part of the point in doing this dev event tonight, is let's all get together, take a couple hours, and put this thing through its paces one last time here before we go with it on live, and see what kind of feedback we can hear from you. So, much appreciated if you can check it out tonight, but if you can't, well, that's what's up, and you'll probably see it most likely next week. All right, I'm going to check out chat quick. Are there any stats gathered on the source of casualties on hardcore? We have not done that work. We do capture some of that information. And then usually at the end of the season, we can do some kind of data queries and check that out. Anecdotally, based on, like I say, I'm only level 5. I've been taking it slow and steady, and like I said, since hardcore has been open, I have been on a roll of having, not choosing, but also having to spend like a week with my son, doing a lot of church work related to Easter. I recently became the senior warden of the church I belong to, so I've had a little bit more responsibility there in recent weeks. And just all sorts of stuff going on in my life has made that my evenings I've only had a couple evenings per week to dedicate to hardcore. And so I've only been able to do that. I'm only level 5. But based on what I've seen on the hardcore server during that time, there are a lot of people dying to mimics, but I'm also still seeing plenty of people, like, say, your kobold shamans, your lizard folk casters, your wraiths, reapers, other things. So it's not just been mimic deaths, but it certainly has been, not uncommon to see death by mimic scroll through there. So I agree. We at the very least, it would be lovely to see how many death by mimics we had in Season 4. Yes, Lurie of Orion on Twitch. We will be bringing back DDO points codes to the external DDO market in the future, but we do not have an ETA for that work. That is something we do want to do, however. Let's see. What do we got over on Facebook? Let me make sure I take a moment to go there as well. Also, hello everyone on Facebook. I need to upgrade my 486. Oh, I'm not doing that bad, am I? I do have my stream is in 720p, but that is mostly due to limitations on bandwidth at doing 3 independent streams at 1080p from my house. Alright, what else we got? A death by mimic cosmetic. Yeah, yeah, that would be good. Will the new pack be available in the DDO store for points right away? Yes. Oh, how do I feel that there is a player named Cordovan on the hardcore server? That was brought to my attention over the weekend, and I know that normally we probably wouldn't address it because it is ultimately a disciplinary thing, but enough people saw it that I had let's just say lots of private messages and Twitter messages and more than a handful of texts to my cellular telephone that there was a Cordovan running around on the hardcore server who ought not. And we did take care of that. That is no longer an issue. I don't know why this season is different. Normally that name, for that reason, is why that name is banned for non-admins. It's part of the name filter list, as a matter of fact. Typically. And so I haven't really had to reserve that name kind of privately for the last couple of hardcore seasons. But for whatever reason, it didn't carry over this time. So we had to do some work there, and I had to recapture that name. Which I've now done. But just for the record, there will never be a non-admin Cordovan that is ever issuing any kind of message, advice, directive, statement from SSG, etc. from me on the live servers. If you're seeing a Cordovan on the live servers, it will be an admin. And if it is not an admin, it is not. It is not me. And that is, you can bet on that. So, I apologize if anyone ended up kind of getting suckered or anything, or had a bad experience because of what went on over the weekend. We've taken care of it now. And yes, admins will have a plus by their name. Their text will also look different to you, although we have seen cases in the past where people try to kind of emulate that fairly successfully. But that is also a thing. And then on top of that, generally you would... Generally, once you... it's certainly anyone can get kind of suckered in by anything. It happens to everybody, right? But generally, in hindsight, if you think about what the person who got suckered received, you know, hey, just for out of the whim, I want to give you 50,000 DDO points. All I need is your account info. That ain't me, and I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that, right? So, no. But still, it has happened over the years, and that's why we do ban that name from the live servers for that reason. So.
Things look peaceful on the road to Nash's farm, but the hills echo with distant shouts and the barking.
I mean, and sometimes it's harmless fun, essentially, or it's someone just kind of maybe with a beef over some forum issue. They don't, you know, like the moderation I had to do or whatever, right? So sometimes that happens, and that doesn't really matter that much in the long run. Oh no, someone made a character named Cordovan sucks on hardcore, and then whatever. So what? Whatever. You know? Oh no. I assure you, it is not something that even remotely concerns me. But we have had cases in the past of people using it for much crueler and or illegit means. And so it is important that we do what we're doing. You know, I don't need going to. Alright. I can actually, give a quick overview of my character here in a second, but I want to try to call up. The bonus. I haven't done the bonus yet, and I want to do that kind of before we move away from the news portion of the show, as it were. I also want to make sure, since we're on hardcore here, that I do this with it on a side monitor so that, for example, I don't have orcs coming at me while I sit there looking up our bonus, die on hardcore, and have my first hardcore season death, thanks to the fact that I didn't look up what the bonus was before I went on the air today. So, let's do that first, shall we? Alright. I'm just glad it worked out. Meanwhile, everyone's in shock going, oh, that would have been such good content. Come on, think of the content. Yes. No, I want to live. I want to live. Alright. Alright, now I will look up the bonus. Okay, yep, here we are. Okay, so let me double check the date, make sure I'm correct. Yes, we have got a guild renown boost going on this weekend. That is a 20% guild renown boost. Now note, remember, this is not on hardcore. None of the bonuses, including the other one I'm going to get to in a second, are available on hardcore. But,
The orc raiders have thrown up a crude barricade across the road to discourage anyone from returning to the farm.
That's a little dangerous, huh? You know, I'm moving into the category where I actually do need to start paying attention to what I'm doing here. I can pretty much coast to level 5 at this point on hardcore, for the most part, but it's when I get to... Well, there's a couple of points that you have to be real careful. And a couple of things I guess I can even talk about related to that in a little bit here. But you gotta be careful, like with these orc clerics, you could get held, and then you can just sit there and watch as you die. So, slow and steady wins the race. And let me start paying a little more attention to that. But yeah, so this weekend we've got a 20% Guild Renown boost along with the Festival of the Traveler. This is our final weekend for the Festival of the Traveler, and we brought that back mostly because people had suggested that it had been an awful long time and couldn't we please. However, bringing it back to the live servers again did underscore that one of the big issues with the Festival of the Traveler is that we have not had an opportunity to really do much with it. And as such, the loot is pretty subpar, and the event itself doesn't really meet modern standards, perhaps, related to not making people leave their preferred content flow and things, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it came back. It was fun. Hope you had a good time with it. It's probably not coming back again anytime soon. So, perhaps if you do care, you would want to run the Festival of the Traveler this weekend, because I'm not sure that we'll be bringing it back in its current form again. Maybe. Nothing saying we couldn't. But I think we've heard the feedback, pretty negative feedback, about this, our returning of the Festival of the Traveler on the forums and such. And so I think it's likely we would think long and hard before bringing it back again without doing some additional work on it. Yeah, and this is another reason why not. However, so just real quick for me on the Mimics, thankfully I've still got 20 seconds left on my acid resist. You do want to make sure you have acid resist. Oh, crap. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I just have a mimic and a couple of orcs coming after me, and I'm feeling a little stuck in place. But hey, and I'm out of spell points. But you know what? It's perfect. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not concerned. We're all good here. We're all good here. Oh God, I'm gonna die. No, all right. Anyway, how I've been approaching the chest outside of this time is before I open a chest. I'll be doing protection from acid. You want that initial hit protection. Resist acid. Mandatory. Mandatory. Before you're going to open any chest right now on the hardcore server. Also, whether you are a melee character or not, can I politely suggest that you have an opportunity to do ranged damage from a distance? And you should take advantage of that, regardless of your class or build, this season on the hardcore server. I don't, at the moment, have a ranged weapon just because my gear kind of sucks right now. But I do, but I'm not using it because it's still better off for me to use Searing Light and Nimbus of Light, as I need to take care of it from a distance. The other thing you can do is if you do have a pocket cleric like this, set him on fight. You open the chest, back off right away because it does take a second or so for the mimic to spawn. Let the hireling engage, range that sucker, and for the most part I haven't had an issue yet, outside of this one right here, on dealing with a mimic in the game. Greater color spray pins the mimics nicely. Excellent advice. I don't have that as a cleric, but yes, I would imagine so. I've also been getting good use out of hold person at these lower levels. A lot of stuff can be impacted by hold person, even if, you know, anything humanoid, which is a lot of the mobs you're facing at this stage of the game. Obviously, as that goes on, it becomes less useful. You start fighting a lot fewer kind of humanoid types, but otherwise, you know, yeah. And I'm gonna clear this shrine, and I guess hit the chest because I said I was going to. Or hardcore here. Let's see if I can hold that wizard. Yep, and nice. Let that person sit for a second. Get him with the Searing Light. Take them out of... Well, fine. Help your buddy. It's what good it does you. Mark. I do currently have 55% fortification on this character. That is not 100%, but I am only level 5, and 55% could be worse. I will say I'm a pure cleric with a sort of a fighter type. I'm going War Domain. I can show that off in just a second. Okay, good. Alright, so here's where I currently sit on Mock Duck level 5 cleric. I do have the Lesser Tome of Learning on it. I'm a shifter just because, no particular reason, didn't hurt. Decent base strength, not much itemization. You know, not much itemization on any of my base stats at the moment. I'm just now getting to that as I acquire it. Just enough dexterity to not have a penalty. Decent enough con to start. Decent enough wisdom to start. No intelligence to speak of. And that does mean my skill points are heal only under the current scenario. And then not much in the way of charisma either, so like turn undead and that isn't going to do me much good. Although I have found, even at these low levels, there are some things you can do and it still makes a difference. 4 feats. I would mention that I've got... Where'd that go now? I might actually end up doing a feat respec here at some point. But, yeah, I've got Shield Mastery, and I am going to Sword and Board, so that's what's up with that. And then on domain, you can see it's a war domain. There's a couple of reasons I'm doing that. Other than the general plus to hit to help a little bit with the loss of the base attack bonus of a cleric versus a fighter, it does help quite a bit, and it does lead up to a +5 should I ever get to level 16 or whatever. And then my turn undeads, they're not that useful for destroying undead at this point. We'll see if it ever gets that way. But it gives a bonus to melee and range attack power, equal to half my cleric level for 20 seconds. So at the very least, I'm going to find a decent enough use for my turn undeads as I go along. But the other big reason I'm a War Domain Cleric is that at level 5 here, you become proficient with any weapon. Now, I'm still largely going to be longsword based, because I will be getting some inherent bonuses with my, sovereign post type stuff there, right? But, and this, right? Because I'm going into War Priest plus to hit and damage, and I'll be doing that up the line, largely going into longswords. However, at this point, it's very useful for me, because should I come across something like a +2 Holy One Copish of Deadly 2 on my first character, on my first life, going into hardcore for the start of the season. Remember, we're all starting fresh here. I can just wield it without any major concerns, and that'll continue onward throughout the course of this for whatever times I might need to pull from being a longsword user for now. It just makes things easier. So that's largely what I'm doing at this point. That does mean that if for traps and that, I'm going to have to rely either on friends or on the DDO store, which would be like a hireling rogue at this point. So I do have that, and at the moment I use backup healers on hardcore because, yeah, I do. And at the moment I'm mostly going into War Priest. You can see I just took 1 point in Shifter for really no reason. Because I've got it there, the inherent, and then I went Inquisitive on my extra universal action point there. So that's it. There are plenty of other good options. Like I could go between Cleric and Fighter perhaps, and do better sword and board with, like, say, Sacred Defender, or even Vanguard. Vanguard, largely I'm kind of emulating a similar Vanguard build, but with the base attack bonus stuff is going to become somewhat more relevant after update 49 here, with the changes related to game performance and double strike. But I should still be fine there as I level up. And that's basically where I sit right now on the character. As I've been saying, I don't have any gear, right? Because this is my very first life through the game. So what am I currently using is just goggles for accuracy and seeker, because it never hurts, right? A little bit of sheltering as a helmet. I'm still just using the Natural Armor 1 amulet because I don't have anything else for it yet. Still nothing in my trinket slot yet. Just using a Thin Black Cloak from Keep. No real reason. Why not? +1 PRR. I'm still wearing that Lesser False Life belt. I do have some fire absorption, and fire resistance just doesn't hurt, right? I do have a Radiance item I was able to pick up, so I've got a +40 to my light spell power, which is, because I'm using Searing Light and stuff a lot, I do want to get as much light power as I can during this journey. I'm still just using basic jump tumble boots because I don't have anything better. I have Sonic Absorption and Feather Falling. Thankfully, I was able to find a Feather Falling ring pretty early on, so I know a Feather Falling, and that's kind of useful. Here's my main fort. Like I say, 55% fortification from bracers. Doesn't hurt to have fort +3. And then for armor, I'm just using the best armor bonus I can at the moment. However, I happen to find one with Hallowed +3. And prior to that, I actually had armor with Sacred 2 on it. So that's actually helped overcome the low charisma at these low levels. Although eventually that's gonna, not do anything for me. And then at the moment, hey, having death block doesn't hurt either. So that's where I am right now on this mocked up character. No stat tomes. Although it's something I could do if I wanted to spend the points, but at the moment I'm not doing that, so. What is my goal for hardcore? I am deliberately trying to not set too much expectation for myself because I don't want to frustrate myself or anything like that. I think what my actual goal is to beat Hardcore Season 3. So, if I can do better than I did last season, up and to the right is my goal. If I can at least make it, let's say, to level 15, 16, that would be awesome. And we'll see if I can do that. If I can make it to level 20, even better. And I think that anything beyond that is probably unrealistic for me. But we'll see. We'll see. And I've just kind of been chugging a few potions. I don't need mage armor. I did stock up on a few potions. Like jump. Because as a cleric, my jump is just pathetic. Especially with no skill points to spend into it. I'm gonna be using pots and gear, whatever, right? You know, so. Yeah! Bit of a glass cannon there. We're running GTX 1660 Supers and whatnot now. Is there any chance we'll ever get higher LOD options for player models? I am not familiar with the term LOD options. However, if the question is, will basically DDO ever get a graphics update? You know, maybe someday. But the idea of, let's say, we're just gonna swap out engines or something like that probably is not likely to happen. You know what? Before I do that, I am actually gonna go back and use that shrine. Reason being is Kendra is out of spell points, or out of Divine Vitality. I only have 89 spell points, and there's a that end fight can be a little tricky. So, because I'm on hardcore and because we're playing it uber safe here right now, let's do this thing and go back to the shrine. Level of detail. Sorry, level of detail. You know, but it's hard to say, right? Because I think, can I see a future where there is a supported 4K DDO or something like that? Maybe, right? Maybe. But who knows? Who knows if that'll ever be a possibility for us or not. What did I take instead of Anger Step? Oh, I don't even know. I don't care about my Korthos gear. I don't even know what I took. I did... No, I've got Anger Step. Except I'm wearing the high steps for that jump. Because remember, I can't even spend 1 point in jump right now. At the moment, I'm getting 1 skill point per level. And it's going into heal. So, I don't have much else. There's nothing else I can do. What can I say? I need my jump. Which is why I've got potions here as well. But... okay, fire. Gonna want that. Gonna want electricity. Gonna want acid. Plus... oh! Kill these things, huh? That's fine. Yeah, I actually could switch boots and use the clicky. I guess I've just been kind of lazy about it. I haven't really felt the need to worry about it too much. So. Oh, and I've gotten Flame, although I just picked that up and I haven't really gotten into the habit of using it. But there's no reason not to, because it's just a straight up more damage. Plus 2 action boost bonus to damage for 30 seconds. And it really has no costs. Oh, where am I going? What am I doing? Where am I going? But it doesn't hurt, right? Doesn't hurt. Get to Feywild for the good gear. Yes, but remember I'm slow and steady here. I am running 2 levels over on Elite, and I'm doing it all the way through, so I will get there. I will get there. But I would rather run a little behind on loot, and continue with the level of difficulty that I'm successfully navigating. So that's what's up with that. If I just start running level 5 stuff on Elite, all of a sudden, there's a much better chance that this mock duck will find itself in the land of lost souls. And so I am putting on the blinders, going na 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 na, and playing only entirely as I want to. For my own sanity. Because I know myself. I know myself.
Flames go out.
The reason when I have a longsword, I can use this Radiant Flourish, but at the moment I am using that Kopesh because it's the best item I happen to have at the moment. So that's really all that's up with that. Perhaps. I am trying to be mindful. I don't have Quicken yet, right? So I could still be held and killed. I do have Curse Taunts. Where did I put those? Did I put it in my hotbar? Yes, I did, but I'm not going to chug it at the moment. There we go. Alright. Not.
The local orcs will think twice.
Hey, thanks, Kendra.
Another farmstead in the
Nicely done.
Cerulean Hills.
All right, a little hairy there, but you know, I'm gonna have to play a lot smarter than that if I want to survive on hardcore, to be honest. So, but I made it, and that's the important thing. Okay, so we have got a chest, do we not? So let me have Kendra give you enough spell points to make this happen. Alright. Resist acid. Protection from acid. And I want to give myself enough spell points to be able to use these searing lights. Should be fine. And there we go. And we're fine. Alright. Alright, heading back to chat. Do I know if there will be a guild chest update to add a register of in-out items? On hardcore, the guild chests keep getting cleaned out. I'm sorry you're having a problem with your chests getting cleaned out. No is the answer to that. We do not have plans to do that. It is ultimately the responsibility of guildies to both make sure that those who can access the chests aren't going to do that, and then also to maybe kind of have to accept that that's anything you put in there is that could happen. Alright, well, I don't want this armor. It's only one better. It's one better. But at this moment, I don't get anything out of Combat Mastery, nor Insightful Repair Amp. I mean, I don't have a Morning Star, so a blunt weapon might not be the worst, but I'll just take the Heroic Deeds. And then we are going to combat our way over to the next quest. That said, you know, it always sucks when that stuff gets, when you run into a problem on hardcore. If someone's ganking the guild chest. I don't know on your augments for pet gear question. I would have to check with probably Linabelle or Steel Star on that one. I also don't know yet when we're going to be doing Feywild for DDO points. As soon as I know, I will endeavor to let you know.
This caravan has been looted and ripped to pieces. Judging from the debris, this happened quite recently. The road continues east into territory controlled by hostile Gruul tribe orcs.
How long is the Lamani event? It'll go from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So about 2 hours of just dedicated time spent in chat, hanging out with people, and getting your direct feedback. 8 to 10 o'clock tonight. For those just joining us, we're doing a hangout and feedback session on Lamania. Our final preview currently of update 49.
Orcs patrol the road ahead. The Gruul tribe outpost that holds the captives must be nearby.
More stuff to do with guild ships. Yes, you know, we've long known that we have work to do on a... There's interest in us doing amenity work and other things like that. Or perhaps even more radical work on airships. We'd love to do that. It's on our agenda to do at some point in the future when we can kind of put it through the development meat grinder. But we have not had an opportunity to get there in quite some time. I will say, in general, Feywild is about any of our expansions generally go for points about 6 months or so after they debut. And we're at about that point now, are we not? So I would expect to hear something about Feywild for points relatively soon, but I don't personally know, like right now, when that's going to be. Starting again to blurry creatures, I see. You know, Kendra, I know I've got you set to attack, but I'm not saying you shouldn't take care of your own health as well. Believe in yourself and me, Kendra. Alright. Okay on buffs. Oh, is that who it is? Okay, there we go. Will there ever be any updates to the Ninja Spy Tree? I would imagine so. I would imagine at some point we would get to that. It would not be for a while, though. As people are well aware, what the next big push will be Epic Destinies here. So we're going to be doing a bunch of work related to Epic Destinies in the coming months. So I think that's where, you know, that's where the resources that might go to revamping a Ninja Spy Tree will probably end up getting spent. All right. Oh, there you are. Oh, and we've got a chest. You know, again, Kendra, hey, it's okay to heal yourself. Alright. Again, let's do the routine here of some... You know, let's do lots of acid before we open up a chest and see if it turns into a slobbering creature with teeth. And it does not. Okay.
Tribe has transformed the two islands in the center of the river into a fortress. The orcs must be holding the captives at the very heart of the complex.
The catacombs vendor selling resist 20 pots, huh? You know, honestly, I don't think I knew that. That's interesting. There's another one, too, that someone pointed out to me, and maybe I'll end the stream here by pointing that out to you in just a second, but let me... I think we can get this done pretty close to on time. So, we'll see here. Alright. Refresh on the buffs.
Somewhere atop the smaller island, a deep orc voice barks orders. It must be the orc commander directing his troops.
A voice recognition tool for AI, that would be really nice. Well, I mean, I say that. It would be nice. And honestly, I think that would be a good thing for accessibility, too. I think there would be some GDO players who would be able to take advantage of that accessibility option, frankly. Where we're able to do some kind of voice recognition thing with hirelings. But that's a pretty big ask, I think. I'm not sure what our practical ability to do that is. It would be neat, though. Heal! Expletive. TL! TL me! What's wrong with you? Get out of that trap! Why are you like this? Alright, yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Let me heal myself before I open that chest. We're okay. But I will honestly say Kendra, as we just saw, has been kind of fairly helpful here today. You know, I really, other than maybe some self-esteem issues where Kendra has an issue spending available resources on herself, doing pretty well here today, Kendra there. Okay. I'm okay.
A crumpled figure lies inside a nearby cell. It must be one of the captives.
I did say that about mimics, yes. I don't know what I was thinking. I started saying chug lots of acid pots, and then I somehow morphed into something else. But, you know, it seemed apropos. Yes, you can technically you can keep your hireling from running off by doing that. Hit this button, and they're gonna stay within about 5 feet or so from that mark. And we'll continue to receive commands unless you do that. In which case they will wait for you. There we go. Well, you know, I'm getting there. How much more? Let's see how many. If I can get some good DVs, I'll just skip the shrine here. Just roll through at the end. I think I'll be okay. Alright. And if necessary, let me get... I do have one that I picked up from something or other, just a chest. So let me do that. And I will want to trick that. All in favor. And there we go. Oh, and we'll take you off that so you follow me. Come here. All right. There we are. Nice. Hey, that worked out okay.
From the Cerulean Hills has been ended.
I'm out of spell points, but I do have resist acid potions. If that's a mimic, I will chug that potion. Okay. Gravenix Band, huh? Resistance 2. Not better than what I'm wielding, though, in my ring slots. So that'll just probably get shoved in the bank. All right. Well, I think we're pretty close. Yep, we are at 1 o'clock. So let me take one last look through all 3 chat rooms and see what's going on. Weekend bonuses. This is the final weekend of the Festival of the Traveler, and we have a 20% Guild Renown boost. 20% Guild Renown boost. That'll be kicking off tomorrow morning, late morning Eastern time, and it'll run through Sunday. For tonight's dev event, something to focus on specifically, yes. Specifically, we would like you to check out the bow changes, the double strike adjustments, and the general performance changes. When I open a chest, move the contents window off to the side so I can see mimics better in the future. Yeah, I could do that. I've just kind of gotten used to not doing that because it keeps resetting on me due to the way I have to use fresh clients more often than a regular person playing the game does. So I just have gotten used to just seeing through the chest window. You can actually hear it, is what I do. Normally when I'm playing by myself, not on the stream, what I'll do is I'll actually, let's just pretend this NPC's a chest. I'll hit the chest and then I will just immediately back up. And I've got the hireling with me set to fight, and that'll largely take care of any aggro issues I might have there. But, you know, that is a thing, so. Alright, well, I'm gonna call that a show then, and we'll go. Run back into the quest if it's not finished. Oh, did I really forget to free one of the hostages? Whatever, I'll deal with it later. We're gonna go off the air right now. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I will see you next Wednesday on the show. We might continue hardcore. We'll see what's going on. We do, if that is the day of the live release, we'll see what we end up doing there. I might play on a regular server and show off the new quests instead, but we'll see what we end up doing there. Did I really not finish the quest? I could have sworn I did. Did I really not finish the quest? And at this point, it would be gone anyway, because the hireling would be out, so... Nicely done me. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.